Hello everyone, welcome to Theorycraft Thursday. I am your host Roland, with me is Proud, sitting in my comfy chair. Hello Proud, how are you, sir?
I'm good. The comfy chair is so comfy and big.
What is that voice? Like,
that's
what
my Roland voice.
That
in my head, Roland sounds like a high-pitched Kermit the Frog.
Oh no, I can get that. It's just I said I was Roland, with me is Proud, and then you did a Roland voice. So was that Roland doing me? Because if it was Roland doing an impression, then people would have turned it off by now.
Yeah.
So that sounded way too pleasant to be a Roland impression of anything.
I fucked it up. All right. I'm in a meat coma a little bit.
Don't say fuck. Didn't you just say on something that
Proud?
Oh no, yeah, no, that's done. No, I'm like in the meta say right now. Like I'm saying things about what we were doing. We're like a level of extraction above,
and I was breaking
or abstraction. Yeah. Oh yeah, this was some fifth wall shit. We were like going through time. Okay. Well, so this is Proudland, and Roland's not here because he has adult things that he needs to do, and Cyphus is here because he's a fucking child. Welcome Cyphus. I'm glad to have you here, and it's going to be nice to have a host that I can conversate with.
Yeah, I obviously, you're welcome for having me, and I would not be here, by the way. I would have pawned this off on Ursi 100% if I had work tomorrow. But,
I actually would have pawned this off on Ursi too. Then we could have just had
Ursi solo.
We could have just had solo. Well, he would have had to do both parts, so he doesn't do accents, so it would have just got confusing very quickly.
Yeah, it would have been pretty bad. He's terrible at accents.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to hear him try an accent, honestly. When people tell me they're bad at something, I just want to hear them do it. You know?
No, I don't disagree. I definitely don't disagree. Ursi's voice is, I don't know, like it's kind of weird. Like I've never heard it be any different from his one voice, right? It's not like he's it's like I don't want to say monotone. It's just that there's just like one human in there, you know, like most people like there's like voice actors, whatever, that can, have a bunch of like characters in the voices, and just like people in general, like there are inflections and ways to change their voice. Ursi is like, it's like 3 notes. There's just like do, re, mi, and that's just it.
Yeah, he is kind of. You're right. He's kind of he's a Dan Carlin almost. Although no, maybe Dan Carlin's. He's not monotone. He adds a little text or he adds a little flavor to what he does. He may not change.
Okay, so today
voice.
On Proudland, we're gonna be kind of taking it a little step back. Cyphus has been calibrating, as everyone I'm sure is loosely maybe has that in the recesses of their mind.
Change of subject. I'm sorry.
Are you still? So what we decided, or what I decided, I guess, Cyphus had very little to do with any of this.
Yeah, I have nothing to do with any of this.
This was kind of all just dropped on my goddamn head, and now I got a big old bump. And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna kind of go through what are known as the lanes of Dota 2, and we're just gonna talk about like what you actually should want to be doing at a relatively. We're at what you're gonna want to be doing in this new patch where jungle camps actually respawn, because shit has changed majorly.
I think I
right?
know the answers to all of these questions. By the way,
I'm sure you do.
I just want you to know, with my newfound MMR,
it's giving you the insight.
I feel that along with that climb came unlocking all of the secrets of Dota.
Okay.
So you're very fortunate to have me here today.
Oh yes, because mostly the way this show works is that I ask questions of the other person on the microphone, and they kind of just
educate you. Yeah. That's what the show's about. I'm ready.
It's me trying to learn. I'm like, these 5K games, I just don't understand them. Roland,
did you
can you
Roland
please
come after you? Not Ursi for sure. But,
it was mostly Ursi. But
he did say that he no longer respects any of your opinions on Dota.
Yeah, I don't know. Roland's a pretty weird cat, huh?
Yeah, he really is.
That's the kind of thing where like I hear it and I'm like, okay, like whatever.
And then I think immediately after saying that he disagreed with everything, he then said you were one of the only people he could play on a team with, because you're one of the few people he would actually respect saying something about the game. So he's just a walking contradiction.
Yeah, I like that song. I really like Green Day when I like, when you get out of the mind, because like you're a kid and there's like certain bands that you're just not supposed to like, and like as soon as like American Idiot came out, Green Day became an anthema for like if you were a cool punk, you're not allowed to like Green Day anymore. But man, old Green Day shit, or just like any of it, anything. I mean, still like American Idiot Beyond, you're kind of just like, all right, let's calm it down a little bit. But shit before that, man, Basket Case, I will never not sing that at karaoke.
Yeah, it is a good karaoke song.
It's just good. It's just nice.
But when bands, I mean, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole, and I take full responsibility.
Like to go down your rabbit hole.
But when bands like that, when bands get that bad, because like I do feel like American Idiot was maybe one of the
It wasn't
biggest
great.
pieces of
Look, I mean, I try not to insult people's tastes or whatever, but I mean it subjectively not a fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That and it ended up ruining old Green Day for me a little bit. It did.
That's fair. Anyway, so let's touch these lines. Anything else you want to get into? Anything happened in the past like day, right? Because you recorded on Saturday, right? Like that's when you guys record. Yeah. Anything happened in the last day for you? Anything at all? That tournament happened. You watching that tournament?
No, I'm not watching that tournament.
Okay.
I've been playing a shitload of Friday the 13th, the game. It's a blast.
Yeah, no context for that one.
It's really good. It's you know the game Dead by Daylight. You ever hear about that game?
I've like heard that name maybe.
Okay, that's what Dead by Daylight wanted to be. I think it was plagued with server issues though. Day one, it was a disaster on launch, but it's better now. Day in.
All right, yeah, I've been playing a little Player Unknown's bugs. I won my second game, so I'm pretty sure I'm done with it at this point.
Yeah, now that you've won, you're gonna.
Yeah, it was. I got it. Yeah, it was partied with Sam and people or whatever, and I made it to like 7th or something, and then Sam got it at the end. So winner, chicken dinner first day. I don't give a shit.
Damn, I'm done with the game. Chicken dinner in that game.
Yeah. Well, not all of us can be as naturally talented in letting Sam kill someone in a bush as I am.
I have a ton of second place finishes.
Yeah, it just doesn't really cut it, does it?
No, it doesn't. It feels like I didn't. It feels like nothing, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
In that game especially.
Can I just say, so I did listen to some of that, or most, no, I listened to all that episode. I went to San Francisco yesterday, and on the drive back, I listened to it. And, like, man, Roland kept saying shit like, you're better than you think you, or you're better than you are, or you think you're better than you are. Like, man, that is the most obnoxious phrase, because it's literally impossible. Like,
it drove me crazy. It drove me absolutely crazy because yes, I do. Yes, I think I'm better than that particular number.
Well, because here. So if you ever say yes to that, like, you're by default wrong. Like, by definition, you are how good you are. Like, A is A. That's a fundamental aspect of logic. A is A. You are as good as you are.
Redefine A. That's what I'm doing.
Right. Well, so the issue is that he's saying your current MMR is a perfect representation of how good you are, and you're saying no. But he's like, so you think you're better than you? Like, no, I just think my MMR doesn't represent.
I don't think the descriptor.
It's just
is accurate.
I couldn't listen to this. Like, Roland, buddy, you can't just equate. Anyway, we can move on now. I'm sure people don't want to hear us being upset at Roland trying to use words and failing.
Yeah. All right, now let's talk about Dota.
Let's talk about some Dota too.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So like, I know what I want to talk about, but kind of pulling it back. I was kind of hoping that you would do that.
Okay.
But,
well,
so what? Let's start. Where you playing at, buddy? Where you going?
So I think I'm gonna probably calibrate right about 27 or 28.
Not what I'm talking. I'm talking about on the map. Where are you playing on the map? Okay,
that's what I'm getting at. And
great.
And to get to that point from the old 2K run, I had to adapt to playing a core, and I chose the safe lane carry. And I mentioned this on the Saturday show. I think that turn happened whenever I was listening to, I think it was a Theorycraft Thursday where you were talking about your PA build.
The PA, yeah.
And where you first started talking about doing Vanguard Deso. And
it was like the Phase-Aki Vanguard Deso. Fun times.
All I had ever seen on PAs was that shitty, especially at 2K, was that shitty Vlad's Battle Fury build. And I didn't like it, and everything you were saying about lifesteal made complete sense to me, and all I could think was, man, I'm with so many PAs that lose all the time with that Battle Fury, with that Vlad's Battle Fury build.
Yeah.
Like, it does make sense to me that you'd want a PA that just starts dominating like that. That's where her power spike is. I got everything
or just an item that does something. Vlad's just doesn't do anything anyway.
So I started doing that, and I had tremendous success with it.
Proud of you.
and I loved it, and I spammed that for maybe like 20 or 30 games, and I was just dominating with it. I think I had something like a 75% win rate over the course of like 25 or 30 games.
Yeah, well,
And
that's the power when you tap into the ley line of the Proud.
so that then got me looking at other cores that I thought would suit some of the skills that I felt like I'd picked up. Spectre was the next like natural transition for me, because as a support, I was getting better with my
I'm not
map
super
awareness.
interested in what heroes that you played on. You're trying to learn how to play carry. I don't feel like that's
I
helping
guess
anyone right now.
my point being, I segued to the safe lane carry role. That's what I've been playing. And
Okay.
now that I'm into these calibration matches, I've started to have to branch out a little bit into other areas. And when I do that, I don't like playing a jungler. I don't like being that guy. I usually position myself in the off lane and hope to, at worst case scenario, be dual laning with like a position 4 support.
Word. All right, so you've been playing carry. That's we got that. All right, so like, what do you? I don't know, like, what when you're like picking a carry hero in the patch of our Lord, what is it? Is it 706 now? Yeah, that's what it is.
706B.
706 B even.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what do
right.
you? I don't know. What do you want out of your safe lane carry? Is there like anything specific you're thinking is like if you had to first pick? I mean, there are certain heroes that are first pickable, some that aren't. But like, what kind of properties are you looking for? Like, is it a Spectre kind of thing where you think you just like want to be able to take it late game?
Yeah, I guess I'm always thinking about being the win condition in the safe lane.
Okay.
And so I'm thinking about who opens up the most opportunities for me to be the win condition in the safe lane.
Yeah.
So I do favor like the heavy farmers, and not necessarily because I know how to farm, and my farming patterns are getting way better.
Sure. Sure.
So I'll favor the late game carries, also factoring in that people don't know how to close games and people throw games going high ground.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at like Spectre isn't always the best hero in Dota 2, right? Like she's not always
Right.
picked in pros, but at any given time, you can almost certainly guess she's going to be within the top like 7 win rate heroes, regardless of anything,
Right.
across all.
So I'll never feel bad
if
if I have to first pick. I never feel bad about first picking a Spectre, first picking a Juggernaut, or even sometimes a Sven. Although I'll say I'd rather I default to Juggernaut. And
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Spectre
Sven has fallen pretty considerably, I think.
But then if I don't have to first pick it though, I'm looking at a ton of different factors. I do think I'm taking into consideration like the enemy comp and the players on the enemy team that I'm concerned about, whether that's like what the high MMR player's doing.
Yeah.
Or if I think that there's a bad mid matchup, and I think that the enemy mid is going to have an advantage and get off the hook, then
Yeah. There's a lot of things to look around. Like, do you need to be the solo core? Do you need to just like accent the Shadow Fiend that you have mid? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of shit like that. And Shadow Fiend, I mean, Shadow Fiend's a lot of places. So
and then
something
on the flip
like a
side,
troll, something like that.
now that the jungle's back, I've just been picking up anti-mage again a lot.
Yeah. So someone who can like really take advantage of all that jungle farm.
And I just eat it. I just eat it. I gobble
Yeah.
it. And I don't have bad games on AM. They may not be great games. They may not be games that we win.
Yeah.
I never have bad games on him.
Well, I'm gonna say
my last loss was 16-5 on AM.
I'm sure that someone has bad games on AM because it's not exactly God right now. I mean, he's good. I mean, he's fine, but he's no.
I think at these
he's not
lower
broken.
MMRs, people can't. I don't.
Being able to blink is pretty good. I'm just saying it's pretty hard to kill someone who can teleport. That's fair to say.
I'm always able to get away, and I'm always able to eat the map and take advantage of the map all over the place.
Yeah.
So that old adage of it's hard to lose when you're an item ahead.
Yeah. So I want to say there's kind of two archetypes of carries that I like right now, and I feel like anyone who's a middle ground in between them is relatively just kind of shitty. There's, as you said, the heroes like Sven or Anti-Mage, the ones that can just eat up the entire jungle. And then there's ones that are more like group up and fight oriented, like Troll Warlord, 5-man's very well. I'm trying to think what else. Like I think Chaos Knight is honestly pretty good. Ursa also a pretty good hero as far as safe laners are concerned. Razor I think is a pretty decent safe laner now.
You know who I've been
tell me please.
Because I listen to your show, I do listen to Proudland. It's the one show I listen to every week.
It's a great show.
It is good, and I feel like I've learned a ton listening to it.
Theorycraft's better though now.
They're both good for different reasons. But if Proudland's the one I most often get to listen to because it starts off the week, and I have a hard time, going back.
I get you.
Anyway, I've been picking up Wraith King in situations where I get people who pick shitty offlaners who can't be frontliners,
Yeah.
and we don't have a frontliner mid. I've been picking Wraith King to go safe lane when I feel like we're gonna need a frontliner, and we've got enough damage output coming like from the mid or from the off lane.
Yeah. There are a lot of carries that you're like, oh, it's a tanky strength here. This should be okay. Like Sven, if you ever have to initiate first on Sven, you are never going to do any Sven things in that team fight. Like if your mid is an Invoker and your offlane is a Windrunner, and you have like, like Jakira and Rubik as your support duo, and you're Sven, there's no situation where you get to have fun that game. Like you're going to blink, you're going to stun, you're going to BKB, and you're going to get kited and hope that your Invoker and Windrunner find kills. But Wraith King is like, all right, you just go in there and then die, and then you kill everyone. Then you get to do Wraith King things, which are just Sven things, only they're not cleaves.
Yeah, I've been loving the hell out of it, and but one of the reasons I always felt like I sucked with Wraith Kings, I suck so bad at armlet toggling.
Yeah,
and I started doing the Radiance Blink Blade Mail build on him.
Oh yeah, that's some old stuff. I used to really I wouldn't say I liked it so much as I really tried to force it to be good, but I think it just kind of sucks, honestly. Like Radiance, what's that item do?
The mischance, man.
Mischance is stupid, man. Fuck evasion. Can we just say evasion is like stupid as shit?
That's
so
why,
tired
because
of evasion.
It's not just like a constant AoE surrounded by a hero who's going to die and come back and continue
No, I mean,
force that AoE. Like,
it
takes care of so many things, and I'm telling you, man. Like the 2K, 3K games and below, all that crap.
I'm sure it's fine.
They don't overcome they can't overcome the mischance, and it makes you so strangely tanky and increase the AoE damage output. And AoE damage on teams is like non-existent.
No, I know. Yeah, like people are really bad at picking relatively decent heroes. You end up with a lot of do-nothing heroes that don't, have any AoE damage or any team fight or whatever. And then you have some AoE damage and a hero that comes back to life. And Wraith King has a great win rate despite, he's not a meta pick by any sense, but it's very rare. He's another hero like Spectre. Like you'll never see him below... you'll never see him below top 7 win rate just because he's one of those like really, really good kind of pub heroes.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
It hits 55 at like across the game. I think even in like like the way that I like to check the different skill bracket win rates is you go to like Dota buff heroes and then meta, and it divides it up pretty well. Although I don't think it's it's not by patch, just by month.
Above at 5K plus.
Yeah, it's still pretty good up there. One of probably like top 4. 5 maybe carry win rates here. Super good stuff. You see like fucking like Necrophos is pretty high up there with a 53% win rate. Like Necrophos isn't great, but it's just like even once you get to really, really skilled players, like the top 3 or 2 of the top 3 are True Protector and Omni Knight. Heals are pretty good, defensive spells, really good stuff in Dota. But yeah, let's go back to kind of what you're looking for from a carry, because Wraith King does make some sense. He can go through the jungle once you have Armlet and a bunch of lifesteal. He goes through it really fast once you have Armlet and like Blink, and you have your passive that gives you lifesteal. Like he kills a camp real quick, walks to another one, and most of the camps are in kind of sets of 2. Like you kill if you're like Radiant, the safely in hard camp, then you kill the small camp, blink up, medium camp's right there, get the bounty rune, go to the ancients, kill that, blink to the hard camp, and then blink down to the medium camp. Like solid full rotation. Wraith King just goes like straight armlet vamp aura, and you've got all the health you need to do that. You don't need to be Sven, who gets like a Mask of Madness and then also needs another item to like really be jungling quickly. So yeah, like Wraith King's totally fine for this. But I do feel like it's still like the suite of offlaners hasn't totally switched out. Do you know what I mean? So you want to carry that can either just like straight up 5-man with your team, or you want to carry that can just rove through the jungle.
Well, and I'm definitely talking more that I'm forgive the deviation from.
Go for it. I love deviance.
But I'm more talking about in those games where if you're the designated person to pick the safe lane core, and unfortunately some asshole in the off lane has decided that he's gonna pick a Chaos Knight, or he's gonna pick an off lane troll. He's gonna pick somebody who's
like,
going to.
You mean on your team?
Yeah, or an offlane Drow or an offlane
Wind
Ranger.
And that's when you pick Wraith King. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying because when I'm looking at like, okay, we don't have a frontliner, and I still need somebody who can do.
Yeah. No, I mean that makes perfect sense. I don't think that diminishes any of like Wraith King's goodness or whatever. And I think he's totally good. He's got a good win rate, whatever. But I just wanted to say. So kind of where a lot of this idea is coming from me is, so if we kind of want to look at how these lanes have changed within the new patch, right? Some of the major things you want to focus on is the two kind of terrors of last patch, I want to say. Yeah, there was like, oh, Magnus is super good, Lena respawns instantly, and these are like, very valuable heroes or whatever. But the real thing, the real two heroes that kind of drove the entire meta were Monkey King and Earth Spirit, and that's just because they were absurdly good roamers. Like, you always wanted one of those heroes, and they would gank mid and off lane and side lanes, whatever. Like, you would want those heroes off map all the time, and they would be able to put pressure on any lane they wanted to at like the blink of an eye. But they got nerfed significantly, so they're a little bit like less there. And what that means is the meta's kind of broke open. You don't only need to have heroes that can play around having one support, one safe laner, one mid, one off, and then like a crazy roamer, and all your heroes need to be able to survive that insane roamer. And then of course you can swap those around with like the roamer can maybe be like Slardar or Night Stalker or something, to some degree. But now it's like, very often you will see that kind of like more middle of the road zoner, like or rather roamer. Like Night Stalker is really good, but he doesn't kick into speed until like minute 4 and that sort of thing. So it's just like a drastically changed up metagame. So not only that is true, but also like the jungle is also changed up. That's like change number 2 I would want to think of. And the main change of the jungle is like, so if you want to look at what actually happened, so there are twice as many spawns, or rather they spawn twice as frequently. But they give you less gold. So unless you are capable of clearing the entire jungle every 2 minutes, you actually just get 20% less from the jungle all the fucking time now. It kind of evens out a little bit as the game goes on, but it's until like 80 minutes until you were getting as much as you were last patch. So if you're a hero like I'm trying to think someone who does jungle just like pretty fucking slowly and kind of just doesn't want to at all. Like if you have a safe lane, help me out, Cyphus. Who's a shitty jungler that kind of just has to jungle every so often?
Wraith King. I see some Wraith.
No, Wraith King's pretty decent. I don't mean jungler as in like to start out in the jungle. I'm saying like Sven hits Sven gets Mask of Madness and treads, and then he goes and jungles. Right.
Spectre is a great example. Spectre
is a very slow jungler. Sure, yeah. So Spectre, but Spectre's, I guess she kind of is one of those middle of the road heroes, and she has fallen off in pros pretty significantly, I think, right? I'm looking at this the tournament that just happened, and I'm pretty sure she didn't really get picked too much. But for all intents and purposes, let's just say she's not a great hero right now. So the issue with Spectre is like she just gets less from the jungle now, right? Just straight up, like Sven gets way more from it because he can clear all that. Anti-Mage gets way more because he can clear all of it. Hero like Spectre, you kill a hard camp, instead of giving 100 gold now or whatever, it's just going to give you 80, and that adds up quickly, and it just fucking sucks. So what you do is you say, all right, I guess I just can't jungle a shit ton to get my Radiance real fast. Spectre 46% run rate, only 15 games, way less than the last tournament we saw her at. So you say, all right, so I'm going to focus a lot more on kills now. Kills have not been nerfed, at least not significantly. They have been debatably kind of buffed because you'll have a Sven that's AFK farming. He has a huge net worth. The enemy Crystal Maiden is going to be worth way more money because they have a huge Sven, and your net worth is small because you have you're roaming around for kills with like a Spectre or a Clinks or some shit like that.
So do you think the Spectre build, the like earn or PMS earn or PMS phase earn diffusal
diffusal, sure.
Yeah, do you think that's like the better Spectre build now than maybe the like Vanguard, tanky item into
I think
right into Radiance?
If you look at like pro stuff, the Urn has always been the way to go, like how you want to play Spectre, and that's why her nerf last patch was they made just like level 1 Haunt, and level 2 to a degree, but it's like a 3-minute fucking cooldown, right? Yeah. Because it was way too easy to I'm just gonna jungle a lot, and then anytime a kill happens, I'm gonna press R, and it's gonna be my kill instead. Like Spectre, you look at her and say, oh, she's like a super late game hero. She doesn't really do anything till late game. But unlike an anti-mage who kind of is just like AFK farming and is legitimately just AFK, like you are 4v5 until AM gets his shit together and decides to farm. Spectre is like, she's AFK farming until you have an advantageous fight, and then it's 5v5 and your Spectre's in a really good position. So yeah, she's weak, but her positioning is always perfect, and she's always at the fight out of fucking nowhere. Yeah, it's a 20-second cooldown difference at level 2. At level 3 it's the same, but at level 1 it's like went from 140 to 180. So it's like a 3-minute cooldown. So like Spectre would be unreal right now, because the ways that you farm, as I've said like 8 times now, either you mass farm the jungle or you go for kills, because jungling is just fucking bad now, unless you're one of those heroes like anti-major Sven that can fucking just take an absurd amount, or there's a bunch of stacks or something for you. So, which is again like normally the ones who can take stacks well are those heroes that are like crazy good at farming. So what I'm looking for in a safe laner right now is I either want someone who can mass farm like a fucking crazy ass motherfucker, or someone who's just gonna get a shit ton of kills, which is why like Lifestealer I'm not that interested anymore, because he fights really well, sure, but he also is supposed to be like roaming through the jungle, and then he infest bombs and someone. But like there's a real tempo to Lifestealer where like you do some infest bomb or do some kind of fight, and you farm mostly in the jungle, right? Like supports are mostly given lane because they can't farm jungle, except for like Crystal Maiden or whatever. And that, some offlaners, they take a mix of offlane and jungle, because a lot of the time they get an Iron Talent or something like that. Anyway, there's like, normally you want your cores are going to be just like roving through the jungle. And any safe laner that doesn't do that at an absurd speed is just worse than they were last patch, right? Like Spectre was overpowered as shit last patch, so she's still okay, because yeah, her jungling got nerfed, but everything else, like she just kind of got brought down to par. But a hero like Chaos Knight, for example, Chaos Knight does want a lot of kills, but I mean, all his farm can't come from kills, right? That's just not how it works. So if you do want to play a Chaos Knight, and if you're in a pub, you're gonna end up AFK farming a lot, right? Like a lot, right? Like that's how pubs work. Like sometimes you just fucking farm because your team isn't organized. But Chaos Knight, like the jungle just sucks. It's just fucking awful for Chaos Knight now. So he's just kind of bad unless you're actually super organized. Does that make sense in what you're looking for in your safe laner?
Do you think it's that bad for Jug now as well? Do you think that's kind of why he's fallen off too?
His nerfs were pretty bad, honestly. Like it's just been kind of like very slightly nerfed game in, game out. I've been wanting to try a Jug build that goes for just like an instant Maelstrom. Just like Phase Aki, Maelstrom, and then Manta or something like that, and just farm
wasn't
up a
that
shit
kind
ton.
of the build for him like right after 7-0?
No, after 7, I think it was that was Dom, right?
Oh yeah. I was trying to remember when
he just went
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom was like right after 7-0, and a little bit before, but that was you would go Manta then Maelstrom, or Manta Blink then Maelstrom, or Mjolnir or whatever. And yeah, like that was a totally fine build, and it still is. But my idea is that you get the Maelstrom like kind of the same way that you would get a Battle Fury. It's just a good bit cheaper, and it's going to scale into the Mjolnir. And it does delay your Manta or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe you can manage it. You just get like a Windlace instead of the Yasha or something. It's just a thought. But yeah, like a lot of the heroes that I do like to play, like Drow also. Drow's another hero that's like really hard in pubs now, because you can't just farm a couple hard camps and then farm the lane and like, oh, you're just as farmed as any other carry. Like Sven and Luna have Mask of Madness and they're roving through shit. Drow's not even a good mask user, right? Like you activate Mask of Madness, you can't even use your Frost Arrows. Like, oh, Lifesteal stacks with Frost Arrows now. Not if you can't fucking cast them. Yeah. So it just sucks. But Maelstrom is actually good on Drow. Dude, I love Ags on Drow. Ags Drow is
she's
so
way
fun.
She's so hard to last hit with. Oh,
you're not wrong. I just have such an affinity for Drow. I don't know how it happened, but I used to hate her, but now I'm pretty into it. But I just want to go like Maelstrom or like Dragonlance, Maelstrom, Hurricane Pike, Ags on Drow. But yeah, like so for carry, like either you're gonna find a way to farm a ton of creeps, or you're just not. Like Lycan reminds me of that a shit ton now. Like it used to be Lycan could get as much jungle as he was allotted and farm the lane with his wolves and like get a lot, and then hit a tempo every time you have ulti up. But now it's like it's just a shit ton of jungle, and you're like, why aren't I Sven? This fucking sucks. So that's this. Does that kind of clarify what you're looking for? Safe lane a little bit. Either someone who just like farms a shit ton or doesn't, and you kind of always like that jungle is gonna exist no matter what you play, right? So if you have someone on like a mid on your team that cannot farm jungle at all, it's almost necessary for you to pick one of those like Svens or Lunas. Troll Warlord, even to a degree, actually does farm very, very fast in the jungle. But you want someone on your team that can utilize farm, right? Like it was like I've said before, the way Team Secret got like wild good at Team Secret 2.0 when they had Arteezy and S4 and Zai as like their 3 cores. They figured out that you just, as long as you farm ancients every minute, you do wild good. And that's just the idea that if there is a source of farm on the map and you are not taking advantage of it, that's just shit. Like, you want to take advantage of all the farm that you can ever possibly can. And the way you do that is you have different people on your team that can take different kinds of farm, or you have or you make sure there's no one on your team that can't take any kind of farm, and oh my god, what is the word? Like, I want to say take. Say again. Allocate. Holy shit, you're so good at this game. Yeah, and you want to allocate, oh, I'm the only one who can take ancients, therefore I make it my priority to get ancients. My supports can only farm lane, therefore my lifestealer who can take jungle, my lifestealer takes jungle, and my supports are going to take lane. Like, yes, lifestealer can take lane too, but supports are the one who can take lane, so I'm going to let them take the lane so that the supports aren't doing nothing while the jungle is unfarmed, and I'm getting 5% better farming efficiency in lane, and my support's now getting nothing, right? It's like a very utilitarian way to do farm, which is the way Dota works. But yeah, so like, you want someone to do jungle. So if you're first picking a carry, you almost always want someone who can at least, be, I want to say like if Sven was like, oh, I take jungle at 3 times the speed of a regular human, you'd want a carry that's like, maybe I'm not Sven, but, I'm Slark, I have Dark Pact, I can, I farm pretty fast, I can take jungle at the speed, like twice the speed of a regular human. But you want to avoid a hero like CK first pick, who's like, well, I fucking hope we have Shadow Fiend, because I'm sure as shit not going to farm this jungle, or, TA or something like that.
Yeah. All right. I like it.
Cool. And then as far as like worrying about what your offlaners you're going to be going against are, since those roamers are kind of like the Monkey Kings and the Earth Spirits are a little bit out, or at least they're not as completely wild, and they're not going to like be just ganking mid and offlane 100% of the time. You do have these openings, and just in pubs in general, like, people don't always pick these fours, and especially at your MMR, when people's like, oh, we need 2 supports, they're not gonna say, okay, one person goes Ogre Magi, the other one goes, like a Blink Initiator or something.
At best, I get a Ricky, a Bounty Hunter, or a Spirit Breaker.
Right. Well, Breaker, best hero in the game. Yeah. And then, but if you were to have 2 supports or something, you could end up with, oh, we have a Crystal Maiden and a Jakiro or something, because people aren't so gung-ho on, oh, I gotta be Monkey King, or, whatever, some kind of roamer immediately. So sometimes you do actually end up with 2 supports. And in that case, like, oh, they have an offlane Abaddon, I don't have to pick something that can 1v1 an Abaddon, because we have a Jakiro and a Crystal Maiden. I'm not like, it's not 2v1 at best.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not as necessary to take those heroes like the Lifestealers that can 1v1 the enemy offlaner, but also you do want to be in the way of, like, if you're picking early, you want to pick someone who can rove through the jungle and take huge advantage. Like, you need to be able to take Ancients. Like, someone's got to do it on your team, and there are very few heroes that aren't safe laners that do take Ancients. There's like Axe, TA, Shadow Fiend, probably some other safe. Tidehunter, definitely. Bristleback, if you are going to play Bristleback offlane on like a pro. Yeah, that's long and short of it as far as picking your safe lane core. And I'm sure that was a long amount of time. Because I know a lot about that one. All right, so let's go. What's the other lane you're playing?
Well, I mean, or should we just go down the prio list so we?
I don't give a shit. What I want to talk about you. What other lane you playing? We want to decrease in quality here.
I'm playing the off lane. That's probably the next go-to spot for me. I figure if I can't be the core, I can fuck up the enemy core as much as possible. So how has the off lane felt different to you? I feel like I get harassed out a little bit easier from time to time. What kind of starting items are you going with? Because you don't have that shrine anymore, right? So like, what? Yeah. Have you done anything to deal with that? Yeah. Regen. I've been toying around when I do. Well, of course, a stout shield, because there are no ranged offlaners in the game besides Puck. Yeah. So or Enigma, I guess. Or I've been on Bristleback. I've been experimenting. So you've been playing Bristleback offlane. Yeah, I've done that because that hero is good, but not as an offlaner. I mean, it's fine as an offlaner, but it's not good. So, I mean, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be, but I'm just saying, like, if you look at pro games, Bristleback got, let's see, in that last tournament that was just played, we're going to cover this. Okay. Bristleback was in 17 games. He has a 65% win rate in those games, and he was played off lane exactly 0 times. They're running him safe lane, like solo safe or solo? Just safe lane, like with a support. Just a safe lane carry? Yeah, as a carry. He's good. Why not? Fuck. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, no, he's a good carry. I mean, but he's also one of those heroes where, like, you don't want to have. I mean, you can have Bristleback, Queen of Pain or something like that, or Bristleback.
I don't know what's like you don't really okay. You don't want bristleback puck. I'll at least say that you want like bristleback TA or something like that. But yeah, if you have like a decent scaling mid and an okay scaling offlane, like as long as your offlane isn't, I guess even Clockwork isn't too bad. Clockwork's amazing, but if your offlaner isn't, I don't know, man. All heroes fucking scale now. It's crazy. Even puck like scales if Sumail's playing it.
But you're talking about you want like a building hitter at your mid.
Right, yeah, you don't want to be like you don't want like an Ember Spirit bristle.
Offlane Weaver would be nice.
Yeah, not that that's good, but if you did have it, then I would be like, fuck yeah, I can play Bristleback because I don't need to hardcore carry this game. Yeah, if you have someone who can like farm a shit ton of jungle in your mid or offlane or something like that, yeah, you can go Bristleback for fucking sure. He's tanky as shit, buys a lot of good items. If you buy Solar Crest, you're like the main build is Vanguard Solar Crest. And to get that farm, it's if you're safe lane, you're gonna get that farm. And if you want, like, as soon as you have Vanguard and Solar Crest, like you're minusing like 10 armor off of motherfuckers. You have evasion if they're going on you. You have minus armor built in. Like you're a beast. That hero is good as shit. But anyway, let's talk about offlane. So you're not really playing Bristleback, but you're allowed to play Bristleback. That's fine.
I've played some Bristleback. I've been playing Legion offlane and Centaur Warrunner.
So what kind of regen are you bringing? Are you just doing like the one Tango PMS, or are you doing Tango Salve? Because most people are doing some more. Like they're getting Tango Salve these days.
Let's see, what did I start with on that Legion Commander? Pulling it up right now. I swear.
And I don't really care about time. I kind of want to just like talk about your games right now.
Yeah. Let's see.
I feel like that's the best Proudland stuff is when I'm just trying to help a boy out.
So I went to lane with 2 slippers of agility, tangos.
Oh my god!
Clarity.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
You got shit on, didn't you?
I think I won this game.
Well, yeah, the laning phase though, like was it good? Did you just like have 2 slippers and then they just like let you walk to the side shop unharassed?
Like I don't know what I'm doing on Legion Commander, and I'm gonna tell you here's what I do.
Okay.
Oh man, this is embarrassing. I max overwhelming odds. That's all I do.
Is
that acceptable?
Yeah, that's the Q, right?
Yeah. That's
the best skill she has.
Okay, all right.
That's great.
I don't know what I'm doing with Legion. I didn't watch any video. I didn't do anything. I've just played against a lot of Legions, and I was like,
that's what everyone fucks up. Everyone's just like max personal attack, moment of courage. I'm gonna jungle, but no, overwhelming odds is incredible. Yeah, no, that's the play.
Okay, all right, good. Then I feel good about that.
Yeah, you just get like phase blink and blade mail and shit.
I harass the shit out of them. Like,
all right, well, I'm gonna say
impossible to get. I only do this against when I know they're gonna have a melee safe lane too.
Yeah,
so that I can like.
Yeah, I mean, get the Legion trades with them pretty well. Yeah. I mean, Legion isn't that great this patch because kind of like one of Legion's main advantages is that she did have a Dispel, which made her really strong against most of the carries that were good at killing offlaners. Like, of course, Lifestealer can't kill a Legion because as soon as you open wounds to, like, close the gap on her, she dispels it, which also heals her and walks away. But, like, Lifestealer's out a little bit, and there's more safe laney supports, less roamers who aren't doing shit. And Legion actually doesn't really do that well once she gets aggressed on. She's better at like, oh, I poke you, you poke me back. Your poke gave me a moment's courage. Is that what the little double hit?
Yeah, moment of courage.
Moment of courage. Yeah, just a little moment of courage. Nice tradey, really good stuff. But when there's like two supports, they fuck you up real good. And then also, if you're like the way that offlaners were able to contest, 2 people so well is that they could start Poor Man's Shield with just like Poor Man's Shield Tango, and then you just drink up that fountain. You don't need that salve anymore. But that salve's gone, Cyphus. You can't just start Poor Man's Shield Tango and your double slipper shit. Like, what happens if you get poked? Buddy, you take damage.
I guess I viewed them having, 2 supports in lane as like a bonus, because then overwhelming odds would be that much better.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with your slippies? How does that help your slippy game?
I got the Poor Man's Shield at a minute. I was solid.
Well, thank fucking God for that, dude. Because so the reason you didn't start with Poor Man's Shield is because you didn't have enough money. Yeah, how you got to get money if you don't have a Poor Man's Shield to last hit with? Right. You're gonna hope there's shit. So from now on,
get the Poor Man's Shield.
No, don't get the poor, because then you only have tangos and you're gonna you don't have a shrine. No, so you go stout. Just get stout.
Just stout, tangos, salve, and clarity.
And a mango and a clarity. Yeah, dog.
Okay.
Well, all right.
I'll try.
I mean, against certain lanes, it's okay, and Legion does have some heal built into her, but it's real fucking risky to go for to just go like PMS Tango, because you don't. I mean, that's gonna lead you real quick to the walk of shame back home. And like the double slipper, like I guess that's okay if your lane looks like, if you know for a fact that you're gonna be able to get like 8 CS just uncontested while not getting hit into the lane, and then just fucking walk into the side shop for free and get a poor man's shield. I guess you can do that, but like, do you see how absurd that would be?
Yeah, that doesn't sound like stuff that happens when I play Legion offlane.
No. So I'm glad we were able to address that one a little bit. Ooh. All right, so
good to know.
The other change on the offlane is that, like, I'm sure you've noticed from playing safe lane, like the creeps move fast as shit in the safe lane now, like forever. And in the off lane, they move a little bit slower again. So like the creep wave meets really far up. And what that means is if you're at like, you know, one of the heroes that's super meta now, Clockwork, can you fucking guess why Clockwork is so good right now?
Because he makes it hard for you to touch creeps.
Well, he makes it hard for the creeps to move. So because the wave is so far back, all Clockwork needs is like, if you block the creep wave a little bit, like you cog them in a bit, the wave is going to be under your tower by default for like 2 waves, right? Like you can't, it's really hard for them to stack and pull the second wave. And as long as it's under your tower and your Clockwork, like you can last hit that shit for free. It doesn't fucking matter. So you kind of want to play an offlaner that, can at least take some advantage of the creep wave almost spawning like super close to their tower, and that also kind of opens up. It used to be the only offlaners you wanted were ones who could really threaten a safe laner 1v1, like I want Abaddon, so that if they go safe lane Spectre, their Monkey King can't rotate. Their Monkey King is just gonna need to stop me from killing their Spectre. But now since the wave is just like, it's at my tower and they have 2 supports, and if the wave is ever not at my tower, I'm probably just gonna die. So because of that, I'm just going to play a hero that's taken a lot of advantage of the fact that the wave is just fucking at my tower. So like offlaners you can look at are like Underlord is kind of decent again. Bat Rider is good because that pull also like gets stacked up really easily. Bat Rider is really good at like contesting pulls and that sort of thing. And also like the jungle's respawning more often. So the offlaner, it's kind of similar to what the safe laner wants. If you do like, you don't really want to go Iron Talon because the camps aren't really worth anything. Iron Talon takes so long to actually cool down now that if you are just, I'm just going to like spam farm this hard camp, that hard camp's just going to fucking kill you and you're going to get way less gold than you're used to. So if you are going to be someone who's going to like rely on the jungle, then you want to be someone like an Axe who can, farm forever. You don't want to be like, offlane Slardar and I'll get an Iron Talon, I'll kill a camp and it'll give me 60 gold and then I have to go back to base because I'm out of fucking health already. Does that make some sense? Like it's also like pretty segmented. Like Darkseer, super fucking good. Bat Rider, really really good. Shit like that.
All right. I should play more Darkseer.
Darkseer is great. And I mean, you just need extra clarities on him after his last nerf. And also the Soul Ring change made, it's nice for Darkseer. You just start with a mango, and then it's not like you're not spending 125 on a recipe that does nothing. You got a fucking mango, like you're good. That thing does shit. So you can do like Stout Shield Mango, Clarity Salve, and a Tango. I think you can do that with 625 gold or whatever. So heroes that can like farm a ton of jungle or none at all and can take advantage of being able to like block the creep wave. Like Earthshaker also is pretty decent as an offlaner right now because you can fissure off the wave and block it for a while. Just like any hero like that where it's like, normally I couldn't offlane, but because I can either fuck with the pull really hard or I can jungle a shit ton or the positioning of the wave is what held me back before. Like those offlaners are really good now. So like Clockwork's good, Enigma is still good. Enigma can do a shit ton of jungle and can pull the wave back on his own. Enchantress is like okay because there's more jungle again, and Enchantress is just like an annoying hero in pubs. I don't think she's great in pros as an offlaner, but in pubs, she's totally fine. Like what else? Like Centaur is still fine, I guess. Timber is good because if you're dealing with those kind of tri lanes, that's just a lot of like really weak right click. And one of like Timber's main issues is if you get zoned level 1, it's really hard to get to your level 3 because you can't like jungle or anything. Yeah. But I mean, Timber doesn't give a shit about the jungle change or a nerf as far as our offlaners are concerned in some aspects. So if the wave just like starts next to you, it's really easy to get level 2, and then you have reactive armor and Timber chain. And if it's really easy to get level 2, then it's really easy to get 3. So like Timber is now super strong again, especially now that Sven is really good. Like Timber, great hero in offlane. Tidehunter is good. He can farm a shit ton of jungle. It's like stuff like that you want to focus on. And Legion Commander is a little bit worse off because the whole like idea, my offlaner is just going to trade with their carry or trade with their support is a little bit nerfed by the fact that they may have an extra support. And also, like, yeah, she's really good sustain jungler, but she doesn't, farm stacks super quickly early on or anything like that. So she doesn't take quite as much advantage of the jungle change as you might hope. She was like really good when it was, oh, jungle respawns every 2 minutes, and she just like, oh, I'm gonna go hit up the jungle right before it respawns, kill 2 camps, get a shit ton of gold, and then lane for the until like a minute and a half goes by, and then I'll do it again. But now it's just like every minute, and it's not quite as much per camp, so Legion's a little bit falling off there. If that makes some sense for you, buddy.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Cool.
Although I would think that she'd.
I mean, as the game goes on, it's good for her. Because, like, there's more jungle availability, right? It's not like Anti-Mage eats all the camps and then you're sad, right? Like, even Jakiro is getting, like, one of the reasons why Jakiro is good, he has a ton of AoE right now as a support. Well, he always had a bunch of AoE. But one of the reasons he's a good support is it's not like, oh, well, I can farm camps, but there's no camps. There's always camps now. So a hero like Jakiro that can... that fucking rhymes. A hero like Jakiro that can farm a bunch of camps, get his GPM up way past 0... is going to be doing well. It's like it's getting played by Firo or something. I couldn't really get that last rhyme in there.
You were trying.
I was really trying. There's no good support that ends with an O that I know. Kuro? No, that doesn't work.
Disruptoro?
No, that's not. Disruptoro is a support, not a professional player. Oh. Anyway, yeah. So that's kind of what you're looking for in offlaners. It's really like. I mean, if you look at like Darkseer, Batrider, I think Axe is still really good, especially in pubs. Those kind of heroes are the ones that you want to be mostly looking at. A hero like Legion is still decent, but who?
QO?
Oh shit, QO would have been good. I was like, QO is not a hero. You're trying to say Wisp? Like, what's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but he's not a support player. Anyway, I think that ship has kind of sailed,
man,
huh?
Look, I'm trying. All right.
I know you're doing your best.
You. All right.
All right. So does that sound good for offlane? I feel like we did something.
So I feel like the trend between both the off lane and the safe lane is making sure you have somebody who isn't just doing what maybe we've traditionally thought of doing in the safe lane, which is, the answer used to be fuck them up, right?
Fuck them up.
That used to be the answer, but it's not just that anymore. We absolutely need somebody who's not just doing that, but also able to take advantage of the increase in farm on the map with the jungle.
Yeah, it's either be able to take advantage of the jungle or be able to take advantage of the fact that that it may be easy. The reason if an offlaner could just get zoned at level 1 and have a shit time, that is just kind of gone now. And also because the deny mechanics, like even if they deny all your creeps, you're still going to get 70%. Like Timbersaw doesn't give a fuck if you gained 30% XP for his range creep. All he fucking cares about is that he gained an extra 20%. Like if you're level 8, as long as he gets 3, he's like, whatever, I'm over the fucking moon. This is great. I'm level 3, finally. Like, yeah, you're level 8, but you right click and I'm level 3. I don't care about right clicks anymore. So like that change also really big. So like not only is the lane next to you, even if all that shit gets denied, you're getting more than you were before. And a lot of the things with support with offlaners is they don't really care about how leveled up their abilities are. It's just like whether or not they have access to them at a binary. Like Batrider doesn't need 2 points in Firefly. He just needs Napalm and Firefly. Like that's just like as long as he's got those 2, he's happy. He doesn't need to be level 4. As long as he gets there, he's fucking golden. So yeah, like heroes that it used to be like, oh, maybe I get zoned out and then I never get, my shit off the ground. That is no longer a big issue. Heroes that, farmed the jungle a little bit and then also fought a little bit, not as interesting anymore. So it's like, yeah, heroes like Darkseer that can fuck up their pull or do a shit ton of jungling, or heroes that maybe have a weak level 1 but a really strong, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And that's where Earthshaker would fall into play, is in that latter category?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, Shaker couldn't jungle. I don't think he's a fantastic offlaner, but, he's playable. But yeah, like, he used to, you could just zone him, and he doesn't trade well with carries, and he doesn't jungle, so he was like a shit, hero less patch, as far as offlaning, at least. But now you can block the lane. You're always going to get your levels anyways. And even if you want to just go for the soul ring, you can do that like mango build up. So you already have the recipe built into you. And if you want to go that direction, you can just, like get soul ring and then, get a bunch of CS with fissure and hurt their carry a bunch. And yeah, so it's like totally playable, all because he can get a couple levels in him. Like if you just have a level 1 Earthshaker with Fissure, not that great. If you manage to get to 3 and you have like Fissure, Enchant Totem, Aftershock, you've got like 2 AoE stuns to work with to save your bums, and one of them has a 5-second cooldown. Like it's pretty hard to kill a hero at that point.
Yeah. Okay. I pulled up Earthshaker when you mentioned him earlier, And seeing that he's 28th popularity and a 51% win rate,
he's not bad. I think he's a better 4, but yeah, he's okay.
Okay, all right, that's cool to know.
Yeah.
I'm semi tempted to try some Earthshaker.
Let's break it out. Let's hit support, because I feel like that. So we went to safe lane, and then what interacts with the safe lane is the off lane, and then what kind of interacts between the two of them and the mid lane, brings us all together, is the support. Yeah, so let's hit that one up.
So when I'm playing support, I'm playing the 5. I'm picking up. I'll be honest. I'm picking up Crystal Maiden.
That's fine.
I'm first or second picking her. If it's obvious that I'm not going to play a core of this game, I'm just grabbing her. I've got so many fucking games on her. I'm super comfortable with her. She's a top tier pro meta pick. Like
she's good.
Yeah,
I'm a shit Crystal Maiden. In case you didn't know that, I'm like really fucking bad, like a really bad Crystal Maiden, like the worst, honestly.
Have Ursi coach you.
Yeah, maybe. If only. Yeah, no, I mean, Crystal Maiden's good. On one hand, you could say she was hurt by the jungle change because the camps give less gold, and she was like, like when your support is jungling, she's not exactly taking the entire jungle at minute 2, right? She takes 1 or 2 camps and then goes and helps the lanes. So, and there's no one else jungling at that point, ideally, unless you have, Legion jungle or some shit like that. But ideally, if you're Crystal Maiden, you just take a couple camps, then you go, and the fact that they're respawning every 2 minutes doesn't affect you whatsoever. But on the other hand, as the game gets later, you would normally end up like, my anti-mage or my Luna or whatever are just going to take all these fucking camps, and this sucks, and now I can't leverage the fact that I can take jungle camps. But now that they respawn all the time, you can. Kind of like Jakiro. Like CM's totally good, and her auras,
what I've been doing with
always
her
good.
is just stacking the easy camp and pulling with it and denying my creeps.
Yeah, gives you
getting
a shit
the last
ton.
hits on the easy camp. Like, honestly, I'm getting a little more out of the jungle because I can do that early stack, and I can continue that.
Okay, so that's a good thing. So do you like, as soon as possible, do a little stack and pull?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
because I let it spawn at 30, I stack at 53, I pull it at 111.
And that's because the lane starts so far in the offlaner's position, you want to stack and pull like fucking immediately. Like there's
you usually get level 2 off of that camp, assuming you can get the denies.
Yeah,
and you got to deny that deny mechanic. I feel like that deny mechanic changed.
Supports.
Yeah, like, I mean, it helped her a ton.
Yeah,
because you can, that easy camp, like, I always got shit for pulling with that easy camp.
Oh man, that's the thing to do though. The hard camp pull is like, oh god.
Well, it's so easy to contest for the enemy offlaners.
Yeah,
you're especially with the map change after 700, where now they're coming at you from high ground and you're on the low ground trying to eat that camp.
You can't even see them, like they're just there, and then
you have no idea what's going on or when it's coming, when it's all gonna rain hell down upon you.
Yeah, and your creep is low, and then Legion Commander just drops in overwhelming odds, and like, she nuked the big creep and she got all the gold. That's cool.
Yeah, that happened to me as Wraith King.
It happens a lot. It's a tough life.
But
so you do want to pull immediately, definitely.
And then I deny, and I usually get level 2 off of that camp, which was about the same as me farming that big creep camp, or that big creep from a camp before.
Yeah. Only this is also helping your creep equilibrium for your safe lane.
Right. Yeah. So it allows me to be a little bit more present in lane if, say, I'm dealing with like an off lane axe or an off lane bristle or an off lane somebody who's going to get aggressive under the tower with their creep wave. I'm close enough that I can go throw out, a cold feet, or not cold feet. You know what I mean?
Frostbite.
Thank you.
There we go. Easy.
They all freeze and they all hold them to the ground.
And it's animation on the foot. Cold feet. Anyway, sounds good. Yes, here's like Crystal Maiden are great. You definitely are. You're totally right that you do want to pull immediately. Of course, getting the experience and shit for you is awesome. That's true for any support, not necessarily just Crystal Maiden. Like Rubik, same way you can get the same amount of experience pulling with Rubik as you can with Crystal Maiden. So it's not like something super unique to CM anymore. But definitely pull immediately.
I focus on that, by the way, because that's how I sell it to supports in my games.
Yeah,
like there is a level of like I know that you're talking about it as like this is especially for the audience, like as this is a fundamental thing that you should be doing. But like I think even better is let's teach them how to sell it to people. Like this is sell them on the selfish points.
Don't
you know what I mean? Like
so you don't pull because it's good for your friend, or not even your friend. Right. Probably this dude you hate because he just took fucking the safe lane from you.
That's right.
You pull because you want your fucking level 2. That's right. Important. Yeah,
you get level 2.
There we
you're
go.
A great denier.
Now we're teaching. That's how you teach. You give them selfish rewards. But I mean, before
Positive
you like
reinforcement.
the pole is at 53 or whatever, yeah. So, or rather the stack. So you can walk and be like, fucking throw a spell on this piece of shit, and you hit their offlaner once or twice, and then you do the pole. Because I mean, if you're just sitting there for 53 seconds, like fuck you, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You got time. But then if you miss it and you're like, oh, I guess I have to do the hard camp. Whoops, I missed that one too. Then it's real shit. Like just walk up there, throw two little snowballs or whatever your auto attack animation looks like on whatever support you're playing, and then walk back and go pull.
I think what you do is you follow the creep wave.
Yeah.
Your carry's going to want to be blocking it, and you want to help with the block if you can or if you have to.
Yeah.
You want to buy that TP scroll. You want to throw out a freeze. You want to throw out a right click or two, and then you want to start running back. Okay. Like, that's it.
I'm into it. I think almost any support, whatever spell you could possibly throw, or your dazzle and you don't throw a spell because you haven't leveled one up yet because you don't need one, or you've got Shadow Wave, whatever it is. Just throw a little bit, get run up, help block, get your TP, throw a little harass, and then at give yourself some extra time. Don't try to, I'll get there at 54 and that'll be fine. And then also just don't. Give yourself some time, like at 44 or whatever, just start heading over there. 45, 42, I don't give a shit. Just make sure you do not miss that.
I think the magic number is 42. I think you want more than 10 seconds.
Yeah, to run over there, sure. I can agree with that for sure.
But you can also succeed on that pool at 54 to and sometimes even 55 depending on the camp.
Yeah, if it's little speedy boys, then sure.
You can get
that. But give yourself some breathing space.
It's good to have
don't need to stress. Anyway, I agree with that. Sounds good to me. Yeah, so you want to pull real early. And then as far as things to do, I think it's pretty important to be mindful of the safe lane carry that you have. Because when I'm playing Sven, I'm like, yo, stack and pull the hard camp literally every fucking wave. I wanted fucking 20 stack of that. It's by the time it's minute 8, I'm gonna have ulti and I'm gonna have 4 points in cleave. I want to take when it's minute 8, I want to take a 7 stack. That's what I want to do with my life. But if your safe laner is anything else, even if you have a Luna's I can take a 4 stack. That's my limit. I'm not gonna do an 8 stack. I'm fucking Luna. Ursa, no. Spectre, no. So you really need to be careful how much you're stacking and pulling the hard camp versus just pulling. And then if they have a Bat Rider or an Axe or some kind of offlaner, because almost every offlaner can take stacks, right? If they have a Bristle offlane because it's a pub, even Legion is pretty good with overwhelming odds, and her Moment of Courage stuff works better the more things she's against. Timber Saw, you can fucking name it. That'll take your stack way better than your Spectre or Wraith King or Lifestealer can. So be careful of that shit. You definitely want to be stacking. But don't stack anything up way too high. If you get a 3 stack of Ancients, I'm not gonna clear that unless I'm Sven or Luna. I'm just not gonna do that. It's Ancients are effectively gone now. We have no more Ancients because it's a 3 stack, and anyone who tries to take it's gonna die.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm with you.
Cool. Yeah,
and
then
you decide.
And as far as roamers, there's a lot of good good 4s. Ogre Magi is still good. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I see a shitload of Skywrath these days.
Yeah,
that's been super common for some reason.
Sky's really good for zoning and that sort of thing. And the silence is good, but I'm not sure if I'd classify him quite as a 4 just because he's another squishy ass support. And if you had Rubik and Sky, you're gonna need 3 beefy fellows to offset how one Dragon Slave Light Strike Array, your entire support lineup is just dead all of a sudden. So I might stay away from those two together. But if you have a jungler or whatever and you want your 5 to be a Skywrath, then that's totally cool. Sure, go for it.
What about roaming Rickies?
That's another roamer.
We're still good to do the roaming Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky and Bounty still super good, especially because. Ricky and Bounty were both fine before, and the only roamers that really got nerfed was I always forget about those, the two invis roamers when I'm talking about other options. But yeah, when Earth Spirit and Monkey King get nerfed, then you go to the second class offlaners, which are the ones that are their connection or their gap closer is, oh, I'm fucking invisible, so you didn't see me walk up to you. So yeah, those heroes are totally great. And because of those also work pretty well off the jungle changes, there's always going to be someone jungling, right? Otherwise, they're just wasting resources. It's not oh, we cleared all the jungle and now Anti-Mage has nothing to do but hang out around us while we all walk around the last camp remaining and, fight over who gets to take the farm. That's gone. Everyone's all spread out. Everyone's farming and shit, especially in pubs. So here's Ricky's and Nyx as a 4 has come back a lot. Bounty Hunter also, it's super easy to just oh, hey, I found someone. Turns out they were farming because the camp respawned every minute. Yeah, they're great.
I always feel like roaming Ricky's just turn into like this weird non-jungling fourth core, though. You know,
Yeah. Oh
especially
yeah,
in
yeah.
pubs.
At some point, your Ricky's got like phase diffusal manta basher BKB, and you're like, well,
Yeah,
you're a hero now.
yeah.
Congratulations.
I mean, is that the goal though? Like, I mean,
Yeah, as
or
Ricky,
do
sure.
you,
Yeah,
should
definitely.
I be building? I shouldn't be building differently than you wouldn't say.
No,
Okay.
that's good. Yeah, yeah, like phase, maybe a couple wraith bands or an Aki or whatever, like phase Aki diffusal basher. Yeah, BKB after that sounds great. Maybe
Okay.
Manta or whatever if you're super into it. But I mean, just think about Monkey King ulti with Basher, super good. Ricky ulti with Basher, similar concept. You're always going to get a hit off
Yeah.
on some motherfucker, and you might just bash him.
Yeah. True. True.
That's good. I mean,
All right.
that hero is really solid, honestly. But yeah, like Night
Feel good
Stalker
about it.
also super good. Spirit Breaker, just like you still kind of want at least one tanky or at least hard to kill support. And if you do have someone like a Ricky, you don't want to have Ricky Skywrath. You'd rather have Ricky Jakiro, like something a little beefier, Ricky Warlock, something like that. Yeah, like you don't want Ricky Lion, things like that. You want a big boy out there to make your support duo not just fall over within 2 seconds.
You've mentioned two heroes tonight that like I'm thinking on the Saturday show
Yep.
are heroes that I've still yet to play a game on this
Uh
many
huh.
years into Dota. Those Clockwork and Night Stalker, and they're two heroes that I've thought about 100 times, but I never
Yeah, they're really good. Clockwork's fun as shit, and Night Stalker also fun as shit, and wild good right now. That hero is fucking solid.
maybe I need to try it. Maybe I need to pick it up.
He's good. He's good. Other rumors got nerfed. He is unnerfed. His silence is really good against a lot of the heroes in rotation right now. He can go over cliffs and shit. It's fucking crazy. And yeah, he's good. Nice
All right.
stalker. Good
All
boy.
right. I'm gonna
And
try it.
Spirit Breaker's always been decent. He just wasn't the
Yeah.
other roamers, and now the other roamers aren't the other roamers. So now Spirit Breaker's really cool. His stuff goes through BKB and shit, and he's a big tanky guy. He's good.
So all right. So then I don't play much mid.
Okay.
Mid like every once in a while I get forced into it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I am in the I think it was Ursi talking about like heroes that win the lane but not the game. Like I'm picking Necros mid. I'm picking Viper mid.
Yeah.
I'm not
The
doing,
boring ass heroes that really solidify the fact that are not gonna like playing mid no matter what you do if you keep playing those heroes.
right. Yeah. Occasionally I'll do a Weaver mid. Occasionally a Weaver.
Yeah, it's not much better. I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
That's about it because I'm still trying to find heroes that I'm comfortable with, and
Yeah.
I guess I do Razor. I do play Razor mid quite a bit.
Yeah,
as well, and I've been
that's a
enjoying the
little
hell
bit
out of
better
that.
than Viper, I guess.
And I've tried to pick up TA, but
TA's hard.
yeah, I don't know. I don't want to invest the time that it would take.
No,
to be a
yeah,
great
I understand.
TA,
Like, I mean, I want to play. I want to be a Storm Spirit player at some point in my life, but I don't want to play Storm Spirit. Like, I don't
Right.
want to put in the time. That's an investment, you know. Like, I didn't play Storm Spirit when I started playing Dota 2, and it's really hard to just start playing Storm Spirit all of a sudden. Same with TA.
Yeah.
Like, I don't play Storm or TA. I can't be a mid player ever in my career. Like, I just can't. I can play some heroes mid, but I'm never going to be like, quote unquote a mid player. I don't play a
Exactly.
lot of Invoker either. Like, I'm not an Invoker player. So Invoker, TA, Storm, I don't play those heroes. I can't be a mid player.
Man, I honestly like that's why. Yeah, it's why I end up playing Viper or Razor. Those are probably the two that I play the most often if I go mid.
Okay.
Because yeah, I might as well dominate the lane. I might as well, But I will say, as I'm looking back like through these Razor games and these Viper games on my record, like I have a Razor game where, what was it? Oh shit, I just passed it up. But like I was like 18-3, but it was a loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this one's 17-9. So okay, not
Well,
that great.
nine
17,
deaths it's pretty high.
Yeah, 9's pretty high. I know. The 17's really high too. All right.
Yeah, it's also. I mean, you killed more than you died. That's got to be worth something.
I was wrecking in the early game.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. But of course, I was wrecking in the early game, and then I didn't win.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what to do mid. Like what I'm doing mid is I'm picking those heroes that win the lane, and I'm
Yeah,
hoping for the
so
best.
maybe this one's a little harder to go because a lot of this is like, oh, what did we used to do? Now what's different? If we want to specifically talk about what's different, one of the main things is that you don't have a shrine. Like I feel like in everyone's game, one of their first games of 706, like within a minute, or 2 minutes or whatever, your mid player just goes, "Who the fuck used my shrine?" And they're just like, buddy, you don't get a shrine anymore. You got to just try to not fucking die now. And they're like, what? Where'd it go? Because the shrine, it doesn't even come, you don't have it until 5 minutes. So heroes are buying a lot of salves. They stopped buying bottles. And now, like, heroes buy bottles again. So if you're a bottle mid and you were shit before, you're a bit better now. I think, Queen of Pain buys bottle, right? Like, I'm not fucking insane. Pretty sure Queen of Pain's still a bottle mid.
Yes, sir. Yes, she does. But I'm answering with authority for you.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna make sure real quick that nothing happened in co-op isn't. I don't know, man. Fucking high level mids do weird ass shit sometimes. Let's see. Sumail, what'd you do? No, that was Fada. Yeah. Okay. You still go bottle. All right. Cool. You still do the
bottle.
Great.
I'm
all
seeing
good.
Bottles all over the guides.
Yeah, still go double null before bottle, but yeah, you go bottle for sure. Sometimes you have to buy 2 healing salves before and like 2 clarities before your bottle, but that's okay. Regen is, you can totally buy regen if you're mid. It's important to just not get zoned out and have to walk back. 100 gold for a fucking salve, totally fine. But yeah, so like mids who buy bottle are a bit better in that the mids that relied on shrine to skip bottle aren't as good, and if one mid stock drops, another one rises. If you're gonna pick one, that means you're not picking another. And then also you add in like the synergy with your safe laner is important, similar to how the safe laner says, oh, is my mid going to be able to like steam through the jungle? If so, I'm allowed to pick something else. And then for the mid, if my safe laner can't do shit to the jungle, I probably either want like TA or Shadow Fiend, or I mean, like even Death Prophet can jungle decently with her Q. Ember Spirit goes through the jungle pretty quickly, shit like that. Yeah, that's kind of it. Like you want a good matchup. Mid is way more of like you're doing a lot more of interacting with other heroes than you are with the map. So that's the one that's I'd say most unchanged outside of like balance changes and that sort of thing. But the main thing to get from this patch is if you don't have anyone who could eat the jungle, you probably are going to need one through through your mid laner. If you were a bottle hero before, you're a bit better off now. And if you were relying on the shrine, you're sad.
Is so damn good right now. Like why Zeus's win rate is so fucking ridiculous.
It's always ridiculous. That hero, like, he just does a lot of damage and you can't really avoid it.
It used to be Omni Inhabitant, like up at the time.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a bit better. And yeah, the fact that people don't have like a free heal for you, or rather a free heal against you, is definitely has something to do with it. Like Zeus, he can only put out so much damage, right? Like you keep Arc Lightning and you have it bounce and you slowly whittle their health down and then they shrine and then they're back to full and you're sad. Nothing happens anymore. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely better off now than he was. He doesn't take great advantage of the jungle or anything like that, but sure, he definitely takes advantage of the fact that not every mid laner has a shrine that is like a free heal for no fucking reason anymore. Okay. That's certainly part of it. Yeah, man.
It felt like he's come back with like a bit of vigor since 706. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he was kind of like on the rise before then. But definitely, yeah, you're probably right that the loss of the shrine has like a shit ton to do with that. And he's also a bottle hero as well. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's solid. And then also
we need to play.
Yeah, you could play Zeus mid. You seem like a Zeus player.
Zeus was like the first mid I ever picked up.
Okay, so, well, I'm glad we figured that one out for you. And then there's also the yeah, I'm very happy for you. And the last thing is the idea of I mean, every team kind of needs a building hitter or a sieger or something like that. And Shadow Fiend is a great one. TA also like a very good building hitter. Sniper pretty decent at it. Sometimes the team will pick up like a Troll Warlord just so that their team can kill towers at all. Troll mid is kind of okay, I guess. I mean, I'm not too big a fan of it, honestly, but yeah, I mean, that's kind of the long and short of it, right? Like mid is pretty much the same. You still really need a tower hitter. Yeah, going high ground is a bit easier because they took a couple of those shrines out. But if you don't have a hero, like if your safe laner isn't someone that has like a kind of built-in BKB, or you don't have a hero like Shadow Fiend or Medusa that can just sit at the base of the stairs and lob little globs of souls at towers to kill them, then you're kind of in trouble. So look for some shit like that. That's what you want.
Who are my first pick mid laners? Whenever you're talking that way.
Shadow Fiend for sure. Shadow Fiend's good. Ember Spirit is okay. I think you're fine to first pick Ember Spirit. Let me think. There's like DP is like kind of okay, I guess. I'm trying to think. Like Lena is still fine. Invoker is almost always going to be like a fine first pickable hero. He has a lot of issues and he does take a long time to get online, but I've seen enough, like some fucking 6K pops up in a game and he's just like, first pick Invoker, let me fucking fight him, and it works out fine. Yeah, I mean, Zeus is definitely okay. I think here's a solid list. Not every hero is going to be first pickable. TA is just so fucking good that she's probably first pickable for all I know. Queen of Pain also probably first pickable. And if I feel
like in the lower brackets, TA first pick. The one thing, those like tidbits of knowledge that everybody knows. You got to get an MKB when there's a PA in the game on your hero who hits other heroes. I feel like TA is one of those that's like, okay, somebody pick Viper or Venomancer. I feel like that's always inviting that.
And then you lose because you picked Viper.
Yeah.
And that yours fucking sucks.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll stop from Viper.
Oh, shit. I had one more thing that was like important as fuck to say. What was it? It was like, shit, what were we just talking about?
First pickable mids.
No, you were talking about MKB. Yeah, the other thing to think about, and this is actually super important, if you are going to be picking a hero that does rely on right click but doesn't build MKB, this is something that you need to be bitter about at all times, and you need to voice how bitter you are. Like if let's say I want to pick OD, and they picked like a really good Solar Crest carrier and a Radiance carrier. Like let's say they have Naga and Bristleback or some shit like that for whatever reason. And then I'm like, yo, I'm not going to pick OD because they have a Solar Crest and Radiance Burn, and I cannot deal with both of those. Like, my OD is not going to build an MKB. That's just not going to happen. Or it's going to be like, 7 items down. I'll have, my MKB at 50 minutes, which is way too late. We've already lost by then. It's a Naga team. So also kind of try to pay attention if you are going to rely on right clicks on your hero, whether or not your hero is okay with building an MKB. Because that's like a big fucking deal right now. Like everyone has a shit ton of evasion. It's in their talents. It's in their Solar Crests. It's in the Sven that builds fucking Halberd because Raven did it and it's obnoxious as fuck. It's in goddamn Radiances, which I probably already said. Is everywhere. Oh yeah, Sven also has a 20% evasion talent. Like what the fuck? Sven's got like 40% evasion now. Like what?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
And why is he PA?
I've been occasionally picking it up on AM.
Man, it's fucking crazy. Anyway, yeah, that's all right. That's how you play Dota 2. I think we're good.
Okay, and now you guys know how to win all the time.
You guys know how to play Dota 2.
That's what we accomplished today. That's what I like to think.
Congratulations.
Do you think picking up the all right, real quick, because
sure,
how I like to do on this show, use it to make me better.
Yep.
Do you think picking up the evasion talent on AM? Here's how I've done it in the past.
All right.
If it's a game where I think I want to go heart for whatever reason, like I want just more raw HP, because I'm dealing with a lot of like magic heroes, or there's a lot of magic damage or a lot of burst damage, and I don't want to pick up the Ags. I just want to get a little more HP, so sometimes I'll go heart. In those situations where I think I'm going to end up going heart over butterfly, or I think that I'm going to go heart first over the butterfly, that's when I'll snag the 15% evasion at level 20 over the plus 10 to all stats. Or do you think it's a mistake? Do you think I should just always be going the all stats?
This is definitely something where I would encourage you to kind of visualize exactly what's going to happen. So if you are dying because there is some man fight happening, like if you're against a troll warlord and he is like bash locking you and you want something to like just lessen the percent chance that he gets a bash lock, then yeah, the evasion is cool. But if the way you're dying is you just get like fucking held down and like nuked by a bunch of spells and you're and like dying to like a black hole and there's a fucking invoker meatball rolling down and it's just like a bunch of like crazy ass shit going on, then the stats are probably going to help you more. And if the fights are like, you're just like blinking on people, abyssaling them and just trying to kill people real fast, then obviously the evasion is not going to help you. But like if what is happening in fights is stopping you from doing what you want to do, the fact that you are getting right clicked, then yeah, it's pretty good to go for, I guess. It's just like a big part of anti-mage. Like one of the reasons why anti-mage is such a strong carry isn't because he just, can punch a target dummy real hard. It's that he is so fucking mobile. Like, you can't kite an anti-mage. It's just not how Dota 2 works. Like, anti-mage is going to blink 24/7, and he's got, the 1 second cooldown reduction, so it's going to be like, I don't know, 26/7 or something. And it's going to suck, and he's always going to be there.
Do you go the 1 second cooldown reduction over the attack speed?
Always. Really? You have more than enough attack speed. You don't have enough minus 1 second cooldown things. That's like Terrorblade. At level 10, you can choose like fucking 15 attack speed or 6 health regen. Like, I don't like Terrorblade dies. That's what Terrorblade does. He jungles, then he like loses health very slowly, and he doesn't get it back ever. Like, I'll take 6 health regen. That's a shit. Like, that's fucking value, and I will never have to go back to base again. And then 15 attack speed. That is not even 1 glove of haste. Like, that's awful. This is some shit. And it's
and level 15 for 20 attack speed just doesn't. Yeah,
it's like it's not even a glove of haste. And I have I have treads, I have manta, I can go butterfly. There's a lot.
1 second cooldown all the time, but I often go.
It's just speed. It's crazy good. And then that also opens you up, like, once you get late game, you can like not have boots and just use your blink to get around. Like, if you have manta butterfly and you just have like travels in your backpack or something, and you just fight without boots and just blink around everywhere.
All right. That's good. I'm going to do it. I'm going to start doing it more often.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, Proud, for educating me.
No problem, dog.
As usual, I'm better than Roland, right?
You're more competent than Roland. Thank you. I mean, there's like Roland is like Roland has no interest in being a good Dota player, right? Like, we've figured that out. He just wants to have fun doing fun Roland things, which is that's fine. It's cool.
I've been trying to reignite the rivalry with him, but he's such a broken man.
Yeah, he's kind of broken, I've noticed.
So terrible. He's hiding behind all this. I'm going to be the bigger man, and I'm going to support you.
I don't feel like Roland has ever said, I'm going to be the bigger man.
Well, he's been like taking
I don't think he's ever
acted
that way either.
He's been taking this, I'm going to like support you and lift you up, and like I've only
known our relationship also to been like telling you that you're shit.
Exactly. I feel like an abused spouse, And here I am looking for the
there's a little bit of gaslighting going on. I'm gonna say he's like, oh yeah, no, I support you, and then it's a full like, so you think you're better than you are, so you think you're better than you are, and you're like, I'm so supportive of you, I don't know why you don't like me, and you're like, I don't know, you made me feel bad, but now you're being nice.
Here's what'll turn him back into a good Dota player, and I'm gonna do this for the sake of this show.
Okay.
Proudland. Okay, I do this for you, Proud.
I probably didn't want this, but.
The day that I am 1 point MMR higher than Roland is the day that we'll see him take Dota seriously again. That's when it'll happen.
Maybe.
That's when I'll spark it.
We'll see.
I'll light the fire.
Okay, well, good luck.
It's gonna happen.
Good luck.
It's gonna happen. I promise.
Whatever.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
That's my plan.
Okay.
All right. You guys plug stuff on this show? What do you guys do?
I don't know. I've never plugged anything in my life, dude. I've replugged my mouse several times when it's not working, and that's about the extent of it.
That counts. Yeah, that counts.
All right. You want to do some plugs?
Yeah, I'll tell them some stuff.
I'll tell you, like, I can't do plugs myself. That's why I need you guys. Otherwise, I'd be solo.
All right, thank God. Whew. Defensivepatients.com, Twitter at @p_show. We read a bunch of iTunes reviews in the Saturday show. So we're looking for some more of those. Head to iTunes, leave us a review. It's a really great way to help out the show, and it's free. Patreon.com/Defense of the Patients. A lot of cool stuff there where you can help support the show. The store, if you want to get a .p t-shirt, I ordered mine. I got it in the mail over the weekend, actually. It was really cool. It was nice to see. Has a little professional .p sticker on it, like we shipped it ourselves.
Holy shit.
I mean, yeah, we did.
We did, with our hands.
We did. Came from the .p factory.
White knuckle, shipping them all out.
At work.
Yep.
That's what we do when you guys don't hear Proud on the show.
That's what I'm doing.
Not playing Dota.
I'm packaging shirts. Sewing them with a sew thing. Sewing
the irons on the thingy with the logo.
I don't actually have an iron. I just blow really hard on it until the like hot breath from my mouth sears it.
That's why it takes so long for some of your shirts to get there.
Yeah, okay? And I have to move around a lot, so I generate like a lot of heat within my body, and then I just have to like build it all into my mouth, and it burns, and I have like these weird sores and like blisters from the immense heat, and I just try to like dragon breath the designs on.
And we had Ursi working in the factory until that guy came by and thought that we were like...
Yeah, it was like a child thing, and I was in there like, you can have, Proud is okay to have these weird... Yeah. Second-degree burn blisters on his mouth, but this young boy,
but
no,
not
of course
this young
not.
Child.
Yeah,
no, sir. They were especially worried when Ursi tried to start talking in an accent.
Yeah. Well, on the plus side, you guys told me that I was going to get a raise. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did we?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yep. all that factory work.
All that it's going to pay off one day.
I'm so tired. It's so late.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm kind of hungry.
Yeah. Me too. I'm not. I ate a bunch of food. I had a big Memorial Day thing.
Oh, I didn't.
I did it a day early, and I just grilled a bunch of meat.
Ah, that sounds good.
That I'm gonna eat all on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be delicious. All right, I think that's it. Those are all the plugs that matter.
Yeah, I think we plugged. I think we plugged everything.
We plugged good stuff.
All right.
That was
good
stuff.
All right. Well,
how do you close it now?
I just hit stop recording at some point, so whenever.
Okay. Bye.
You didn't have to say bye. They know.